Now, welcome to our discussion segment this morning. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming industry worldwide, and education is taking exception to this. Now, from personalized learning to smarter administration, AI has the potential to reshape how students learn and teachers teach. Yet, the introduction of AI in schools and universities comes with significant challenges, questions around access to technology, teachers training, data privacy, and ethical cannot be ignored in the country. Now, join us via Zoom for this conversation. From the UK is a technology expert and founder Swiftly, John Onifade. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm happy to be here today. Good morning.
Glad to have you on the show. Can you quickly walk us through how AI is transforming the education sector, especially in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you again. I'm excited to be here. I tell people AI is like the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's has the opportunity to transform lives and society, so we can't stop tired of talking about it. In regards to your question, how AI has transformed education globally and locally is in changing the experience of students. I remember as a child, we had a format of learning things. Teacher comes to school in a primary school, you get organized in a classroom, you get the blackboard, teacher gives information, education through that board or through series of notes or activities. We were limited to that. For someone like me as a child, I was very fond of TV. I liked to sit on with TV. We didn't have tabs then or phones then. And I enjoyed on-screen knowledge, just like what we are doing now. So he had an attention deficit and problems. So I couldn't really concentrate as much in class, but I could concentrate by myself on TV and in front of the screen. Now, the point I'm making is that learning experience at that level didn't exist then. So I was constrained to just learning in the classroom, learning with notebooks, learning with the chalkboard. Now, transformed to 2025. If I'm a child in primary school now, the experience has totally changed. It means that with AI, we can transform the same knowledge, the same education in different formats instantly. It means I probably like reading a comic book and I want to learn algebra. In today's world, I can learn algebra using comic book. Children, kids, even adults learning can learn how they want to. There are tools called as simple as Notebook LLM that can transform text, academic text into form podcast for you. It could become video podcast in any format you want, and it's instantly. You can do it in 3 to 5 minutes. And I think this opportunity in AI has really broadened the scope of the experience of students, and of course has made education and learning better, most importantly for kids.
Okay, I am looking at our country, Nigeria. We have infrastructural challenges that will encourage putting so much emphasis on AI when it comes to education. For example, we have still not gotten our electricity right. We don't have a lot of Nigerians still do not understand what all this AI thing is all about. So many people are saying AI. So 2 questions. How do we grow above our challenges, infrastructural challenges, to support AI learning? And number 2, how fast can we get this education down to the people that need it, the teachers, for example, and to prepare the children or the students to know that this is the way to go?
Thank you very much. I can't answer that with a straight face. I'll not be very honest with that situation. Technology, AI requires a lot of energy, and I think infrastructure-wise, at least large-scale infrastructure, if there is no significant change in infrastructure provision, most importantly in energy, we can be leading global players in the artificial intelligence technology. There's a limit to what we can do. However, it's not a sad story, right? We can see with the adoption of social media, internet, and online work that young people in Nigeria today partake in. We are part of the global society already. This is not necessarily influenced by any contribution by the government or infrastructure has really propelled us to this outside of network. People would buy mobile phones, download TikTok, make money, or learn a skill on YouTube, learn a trade, try to be content creators on Instagram. I think the same format is going to apply to how we adopt AI, artificial intelligence. There's been considerable effort from the federal government through the Minister of Digital Technology to lead the way infrastructure-wise. But as people, as far as our education is concerned, this adoption would happen. Of course, it will first reach the elite, then it will trickle down because people have the yearning. We have a never give up spirit to be better, to learn better, to try new things, and I guess it will naturally follow this process. What advice we do or how this can really transform how we do is especially in the area of language. Because of the literature rate in Nigeria, it's increasingly difficult to teach complex topic using foreign languages. I don't have the data right at hand, but considerable good statistics shows that most Nigerian children start off with their indigenous language and they learn English in schools, they learn English in the society. And it's better when you teach people in the language they understand. And AI transformed that. I could teach the most complex topic in philosophy in Yoruba. I could transform it to Yoruba text. AI can speak my teachings that have been taught to me in English, in Yoruba, or in Pidgin, if that's what I want. So the opportunities are endless on what is possible today. Now, infrastructure-wise, we still have a lot of work to do. Yeah. But I'm trusting on the resilience and the entrepreneurship ability of urge from Nigerians to adopt this the way we've always done everything else, and we won't be left behind. And we have seen it already. And there's been a lot of interesting place with AI in our society, also especially in education.
Okay, so I mean, over the years, we've actually seen the internet take over the space and churn out millionaires and in some cases billionaires, I mean, over the past 2 decades. And a lot of people are saying now AI is definitely the thing that in the next 5 years will be the one turning out the millionaires, the billionaires. Now, in what, let's say, 3 to 5 industries would you say people should focus on that will be the main driver for the AI revolution when it comes to people turning into millionaires and billionaires?
I think there's no industry vertical that doesn't really work. Depends on where you already sit. Say because I'm on this call, on this interview, I could say media. Creative media has been a place where we've seen adoption very, very fast. Remember some months ago, ChatGPT released a version of the product that could transform people's picture into cartoon characters and all of that. I was seeing a lot of adoption in that. If you're a very good social media person, you'd probably see clips of AI people, making funny videos, movies, news clips all over the internet, right? Because people would normally move towards media and where they can create entertaining content and all of that with AI tools, right? Because that's where they have big barriers. But across industry verticals, AI would transform all verticals. Education, off the top of my head, we've been speaking about it. Healthcare has been very, very important. There's a considerable growth in healthcare. Before then, we used to have spent considerable effort in diagnosis, healthcare information, informatics. A lot of that has been improved on, and AI is really, really transforming how some of this work is being done. Also in finance, the ability for artificial intelligence to analyze large data sets, spot anomalies, detect transactions. We've started seeing all of this in most of the products, most of the services we use today. So there's no sector that would not be reshaped or that doesn't have huge growth potential, especially in Africa. I think every single area of our life would be touched in the next couple of months as to what AI brings. But I mean, if I'm a young person or advising a young person, I would just say just get involved. Whatever you think you like, whatever you're doing, the knowledge of knowing how to do this would then, of course, exponentially transform the opportunities in that space.
Yeah, Mr. Onifade, quickly walk us through what mechanism should be put in place to prevent AI-driven job displacement. There's this fear about AI taking human job at this time. What are those mechanism that needs to be put in place to prevent this. That's one. The second one, we see over-reliance on AI, especially for students. How can this be reduced to avoid students depending so much on AI without using their brains?
It's a very, very great point. I think for me, the key is balance, right? We should see AI as a tool to enhance learning, not replace thinking. It's almost inevitable with the way we use it. And I also am very much guilty of it. And most of us have tried using some of these LLM tools, that's the large language models, would find ourselves going to the tool to do basic common tasks. I still think we generate new set of problems we didn't have in the past decade with the use of this AI, the addiction of it, the adoption of it. There's also the negative side of it. I'm not denying the obvious fact, but the way I see it, again, I like to mirror my own individual experience to predict what the future looks like. When I was growing up, we had multiplication tables, 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 4. We had to memorize that as a child. That's a marker to your level of intelligence. Now, I don't expect any child being raised now having to learn a multiplication table. Now, we can see from the angle of, we are now dependent on smartphones, calculator to do your multiplication for you. And has replaced the actual ability to multiply, to think within yourself. Now, that could be from that angle, but it depends on how you see it. Does this improve your output? Yes. Can you multiply a series of tables, series of things in one finger? Yes. So I think some of the things we do before would not have to do it. It would be replaced automatically by what these tools can do for us. However, I also think there should be caution as to outsourcing daily life, where you need humans to come in, empathy, where you need to feel emotions to AI. I've also seen arguments of the internet or people in my everyday life where you're chatting or having a serious conversation with someone. You can obviously see that most of the advice is gotten from AI. And there's a limitation from how it validates your thoughts, it validates your thinking. It rarely tries not to offend you. In fact, there is a funny series that I think a lot of people should watch to kind of explain, understand what this means for us and how to use it. I'm sure I'm probably doing that. It helps us understand the limitations of what AI can become. We're definitely going to depend on it, whether consciously or not consciously. There's a lot of what we are saying that we can see now. Now, in the back end, we're having this interview, I'm speaking, you're on the other end. There's a lot of artificial intelligence happening on both sides we might not be aware of, right? Our systems now will depend on it. But we should also be careful, especially with growing adults, to not replace fundamental thinking, right? Teachers and students or guardians, they need to help students to collaborate with AI for problem-solving, creativity, and deeper understanding, not shortcuts. Yeah, I'm a trained product manager, and I used to say before you could write a good product requirement document, a couple of years ago, you need to have, built product for like 18 to 3 years. If I speak to you, I'm interviewing you for a job, and you, from the quality of the work or what you're saying, I will know if you have experience or not. Now, it's extremely difficult to do. I'm in interview sessions every day trying to, speak to talents, recruits and all of that. And it's so difficult the barrier between not knowing and knowing, the gap is so very small now because people have support from the assessment you give them. People have support from live conversations like this. There are AI tools that, can guide you on what to speak, even if you don't know anything about what you're talking about. So, and in school, we've seen considerable feedback from teachers, especially people in the space. We interview lots of people trying to attempt to use these tools. And they tell us that it's increasingly difficult to examine students anymore. The old method of doing examination or assessment is being redefined because we don't know who is talented or good anymore. Anybody can write super well, anybody can access information free, right at the top of their hand. So yeah, collaboration, I think, is the best key. And to talk the last topic, which you said about jobs, definitely jobs will be gone. People will lose jobs. I'm not going to. It's well obvious. In fact, any simple click on the internet will show that jobs would go. However, you're most likely to lose your job, like on this page, to someone that has employed AI and collaborates with it more than AI itself is losing a job. We'll still have jobs. We'll still have something to do. Just like internet, it changed the way we will do jobs, but we still have some new jobs to do, right? So new jobs will be created. I'd advise everyone to collaborate with it. Don't your years of experience of doing this is not thrown away. John cannot come up today and be a TV presenter because it means all the things you've done, I can't do it the way I am. Yes, I can put up a video, get some AI to validate my lighting, my, even help with my posturing, do some very nice support with it. But it still shows that I do not have the experience. So when you collaborate with the same tool I'm using, the gap will also be still obvious that, this guy is using AI, he knows what he's doing versus using AI, I don't know what he's doing. So I'll preach collaboration every day. Work alongside it, talk to it, explore it beyond even where you are currently. What's currently probably using for.
Mr. Adufade, you just have to hold your thought at the moment. We'll take a breather, and when we come back, you continue with your line of thought. Do not go anywhere. All right, welcome back on the show. This morning we still have John Onifade, tech expert, talking about unlocking the opportunities in AI. Many thanks for staying tuned, Mr. Onifade. Can you quickly walk us through the projection for AI come 2030, especially in Nigeria?
The projection is massive. It will be also very, very difficult to really capture what AI will be in the next few years, to be honest. The growth is not close to anything we've seen before. And it's bound to also surprise us in the future, right? But of course, AI in 2030 in Nigeria will be mainstream. That we are very certain of. We are used to, I think culturally or historically, Nigerians jump into technology. We don't wait for others to catch up before we get used to it. I can bet there are in every town, every small town in Nigeria where there's internet, young people already experimenting with these tools, for good, for bad, for interesting things all over. So it will be mainstream. We'll see smarter classrooms. We are going to see automated farming. It's going to transform our agriculture in ways we've not seen before. We're going to have better healthcare diagnostics. Nigeria has a massive healthcare problem where we don't have enough healthcare providers versus the needs of the people. When we all have a doctor right in our palm, right on our mobile phone, just the same place we watch YouTube films, movies, TikTok, and the things Nigerians do every day. The diagnostics will get to the palm of our hand. We also have more efficient systems. Government will tax better. It means we demand better opportunities. There'll be less incentives to do financial crimes. Because almost immediately you are doing it, AI can really follow you up and track whatever it is you're doing and, get things done. Also in preventing crime and security, I expect mainstream widespread adoption in that, especially in surveillance, in, scanning 1,000 faces, knowing this is John in there, in drone coordination and, and all of that. So I think AI will be mainstream, but the real growth will come from local products, local startups, building solutions for African problems.
All right.
I guess we're still at the stage. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Onifade, even though you're trying to mask it, I can feel your excitement. You really you really want.
It's an exciting period.
Oh yes, you really like this AI idea and things like that. But I'm thinking of Nigeria, and I'm old school, so let me represent the old school people in Nigeria. There are a lot of Nigerians that are still finding it difficult to operate their phones. Beyond making a call and sending a text message, they don't know what else to do with it. All right? There are a whole lot of people who still do not trust transferring money from your phone to another person. I'm talking about those very basic things. And we're having a good number of Nigerians that have not subscribed to it. So the acceptance of AI being the mainstay of our everyday life in Nigeria, how would you propose we get not only the message across, but get people to really know that this is the way to go? And think Nigeria when you're answering this. Maybe in the UK and the rest, it's already happening. But in Nigeria, we still have a good chunk of the population who do not even know the meaning of AI.
Yeah. Interesting question. To be honest, I think it's a trust thing. And again, people would trust what is familiar. You'd people struggle to adopt AI because they see it as AI. It will appear in places where we already have trust, right? I'm doing this interview, I'm speaking to a new man. If you could, with the technology that exists today, you might not be doing this with me. There could be an AI tool I'm speaking to. This could not be John Onifade. I mean, if you're not aware of it, you still trust that you're speaking to a new man, right? Again, like I said, the last sentence I said is that African solutions, local African solutions in AI would want to make adoption very fast because when it looks like us, speaks like us, talks like us, and we adopt it to our local problems, then the adoption was faster because then people trust. Another layer to it is awareness and simplicity. In programs like this, you guys have the responsibilities to, inform the public of what this opportunity looks, so that it doesn't happen to them. They get to be part of the wave. And also simplicity. One of the things we have done, one of the products I currently lead, has also tried to bring payments into chat, into WhatsApp. And again, it's only possible with AI. It means that the simplicity, the awareness, the most of the things we are doing will be simpler to use and to come to people where they already are. Smartphones are complex to use, but people chat, people send text messages, like I said. Every average person can do WhatsApp peer-to-peer messaging. These tools will sit in those places. For Swiftly, we've done payments on WhatsApp. You don't need to open an app. My grandmother cannot struggles with opening apps, but she can send a text message. She knows how to press voice notes and pray for her grandchildren and, speak to them and do all of that with her phone, even with what exists today. If she needs to send to WhatsApp, say, send money to my son. And that process is possible by doing that in our local language. And I'm telling you, with today's technology, these things are possible. So once it's simpler, once there's trust, once there's enough awareness, I'm not worried about adoption at all. I think I've seen who we are as a people as shown in the other way we've, experienced that technology that came. So I have no doubt about adoption. Once African players get into it, build African solution for African problems, and that trust barrier is broken, then yeah, we are good to go. Adoption will be widespread. Yeah.
Okay, so my question now is still hinging partly on the adoption of AI in Nigeria, but now from a more governmental point of view. So for instance, now we see situations where, Nigeria now, we're talking about insecurity here and there. And of course, as you said, there are drones that can literally, we can use AI for surveillance and things like that. However, these things have not been adopted yet. I'm still talking about, in the Nigeria way, in some government offices, we still have papers and have filing and have physicalities and all of that still being done. We're talking about an adoption of AI. And also in the situation of deep fakes now, you're talking about the fact that, you can be doing this interview, but it's possible that it's not you doing it, right? So now how can the government, based on what you see, based on your experience, how can the government adopt AI in better and in what areas, right? I'm using Nigeria as an example. And also, what role does government play when it comes to literally, how will I say now, the policies? What policies can be created in a way to ensure that AI is not used in a negative way across board?
This government has a big, massive role to play, I must admit. I would say the Nigerian government is currently playing is something we should commend. There's been considerable awareness that is surprising to us in the tech space. And again, like I said, there should be a lot of credit to go to the Minister of Information and Technology in terms of the things that he's been able to bring to the forefront. And I'm sure on the president table, in front of the executive or the government, AI is a common theme now because of how much work is done. So the first job of government is to show that they're open to it. We have a different posture towards what we did with crypto versus AI. We're very open to AI. We're very open to the technology. We think the government in itself needs to educate the people to, be very friendly to it and adopt it, especially with the builders first, because people need to build before it gets to the people. So the government needs to support, needs to continue doing the impressive programs to encourage young people to use these tools to get into this new way of doing things, into this new world we are entering into slowly. And so I think, and of course, invest a lot in infrastructure. AI energy cannot be dissociated, right? You can't talk about AI technology without talking about massive energy it consumes. And Nigeria has a big, massive energy problem. So government needs to do more in that regard. Now, in terms of Nigerian governments adopting this tool in their everyday life, I think it's market driven. Nigerian government will do what the people want. Politicians, office holders will do what the people want. Lately, you see a lot of Nigerian big men in government doing a lot of social media. They all have handles on Twitter, they all have Facebook. They create content. Some of them are even very interested in creating content now. In fact, plenary sessions is being held on Twitter. We didn't have all of this some 15, 10 years ago, right? It's because the people will yearn for these things and the government would automatically move to it. I can assure you most of the comms going on where people are sending private emails, it's not because people have not really made it a big deal, right? We've not demanded for it. Now, if the populace, society, we are creating content on TikTok with AI tools, we are creating our own news, the government needs to catch up. The government needs to improve the services, our experience of them, even how governing is being done, because people would demand for it. So I put responsibility on us as people to adopt AI to get over the curve. Then the government will follow up. But what the government can do now to really support this inevitable change in our life is to create awareness, create incentives for young people to choose interest in this and use it for productive gains instead of just irresponsible. Because of course there's a flip side to it too. Irresponsible ventures that doesn't really help anyone. So the government needs to
Well, you can continue with your line of thought.
Okay. So the government needs to provide a very conducive environment to channel. Nigeria has a bubbling, youthful energy. There's a lot of young, bubbling people that would really excel in whatever direction we move them into. And again, like I said, I have lots of commendation for what this current government is doing, especially in this space. With the 3MTT program, there's been a lot of massive awareness to move young people to this space and let them understand the opportunities.
All right.
So we don't let them to other vices. Yeah. All right.
It's a fine place to leave it. Tech expert John Onifade, many thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, John said something very interesting. Gone up those days where you will, it's what we call IQ. Do we still have children nowadays? The Gen Zs taking the multiplication table 2 times 3, 5 times 7 without checking AI, chat, GPT or the likes.
The thing is so ingrained in the young that you ask them anything, or they find themselves in any situation where they have doubts, they go straight to their phones.
Absolutely.
Somebody is asking Google, somebody is going to AI and all that. So you find it a little bit difficult to see a young primary school child that can recite the 2 times table, the 3 times table, and so on, because they have a place to go. And ask. But when we were growing up, we had no place to go, so we had to.
I want to get Winfred's reaction to this.
Representing the younger generation, I will say, yes, I understand the worry there when it comes to critical thinking for the younger generation. However, I have a 6-7-year-old nephew who can tell me everything on certain kind of arms used in the military. Why is that? Because he can easily get it from there and he has it stored in his head. So I think now what we're seeing is more strengthening of memory. Do you understand? I think the older generation, I think they struggle more with memory and remembering things. But now this generation, they soak in so much information because of the speed at which they get it. So I think now the intelligence is now shifting from that critical, maybe thinking, to retention and
I will not put you on a test this morning.
That's fantastic.
I will have raised the fact that Winfred 20 times 20, 40 times 10, you should give me the answer without checking.
Really, both of them are even 400.
A comedian said the Gen Zs are so impatient that one Gen Z wrote to her boss a resignation and said, "Good morning, GM. I'm out." That's the resignation.
We just have to take a break at the moment. And when we come back from the break, it's time to talk entertainment. They're not going anywhere. We'll be right back.